Hello everyone, it's week 4 of the Recycle, Repurpose and Reuse prompt in the Facebook group, the Mixed Media Emporium, and the challenge for this week is to use your scraps. Now, majority of us have got a whole hoard of scraps that we've probably got on our desks. This is just a selection of some of mine. This basket here is just absolutely overflowing with scraps, and so it's about time I used some of it. And so what I want to do is try and put some of these bits and pieces of scraps together in a cohesive fashion and use these to create some journal pages maybe. I've got wine bottle labels here. That's a wine bottle label. That's a gin label that I just thought was really pretty, so I've soaked it and put it onto a piece of deli paper. A piece of Japanese text. I've got no idea where that has even come from. Packaging from a perfume sample. Paint chip ideas that came from a decorating book that I had from Homebase. Various book pages and ledger scraps, that kind of thing. Butterflies from wallpaper. We've got a few flowers here. I think these came from the scrap store. This fish here was in one of Sam's rowing magazines. There's always a page in there giving recipe and healthy eating ideas, and that came from there a couple of years ago. These are various book texts that I photocopied and cut out of a book that I've got, a leaf that's left over from another project, a soap packaging box, a piece of packaging or out of a magazine. I've got no idea what that has even come out of, but I obviously thought that was interesting at the time. Another soap wrapper. Another piece of a flyer that I've had from a gallery by the looks of things, a flower cut from a magazine, a flower cut from a wallpaper sample, a page of postage stamps, more wine labels. Does anybody else buy wine if they like the label? Are you drawn to the label? I know I am. So, and some of these have even come back from Spain. This one has come back from Spain with me in the days where we were actually allowed to go on holiday. That came off a box of paper clips. It was obviously from Bulldog clips at one time. Various scraps of paper. That's a piece of tissue paper left from the project I did last week. Perfume label again. These were envelopes that I was practicing my sewing on when I had my first sewing machine that I broke, by the way. We've got a piece cut out from a greetings card, another soap packaging, various postage stamps. There's just absolutely all sorts in here. Paper bag. This is packaging from a set of vintage playing cards. That was from a project I did in my usual scraps journal, which was wallpaper, cigarette cards. There's all sorts. More postage stamps. That's a card from Love Me Blue. There's just absolutely all sorts in here. Various pieces of leftover napkin, fabric scraps, just absolutely all sorts. So I think what I'm going to do, paint chip samples, you see, leftover pieces of card stock. What's that one there? That looks like it's a mop-up sheet from when I was doing my encaustic work, and I've obviously gone over a bird, so that's really fun. I like that a lot. Let me just pop that to one side. I like this piece of paper here as well. There is just absolutely all sorts in this box. So I think what I shall do is go through it, pull out some bits and pieces that I like, try and team some bits and pieces together as well. We've got, a leftover artist trading card, for example, here as well, and see if we can rummage something together. So as soon as I've gone through this and I've got some cohesive bits and pieces, I shall be straight back. Now, I know when you've got a pile of scraps on your desk, it can be really, really overwhelming. So I've tried to narrow the bits and pieces down to a colour theme. And you can see here that I've gone with neutrals and black and white. I just love all of these pieces, go absolutely beautifully together. So now all I need to do is narrow it down to bits and pieces that I'm actually going to use to form a collage. Now, I am really drawn to the pieces of this soap, especially this panel here. In fact, I like both of these sides. Oh, look what we've got on the back as well. I think what I'll do, just to narrow it down even further, is cut this panel off here, and then I can decide then which side I would like to use. So maybe we can have this in a collage. You see, I just really like that. I love this bag as well. And I think what I'll end up doing, because I don't want to use all of this, is just trim it down the sides and the bottom, just so that I can use some of this panel, and then I've got the back to use for something else. In fact, that works really well together like that. I have found a picture here. I think Mika sent me this in Happy Mail a long time ago, and I'm going to stick these to one side because I quite like to use those in my Paris themed journal. I've also got a French book page here as well, so I'm going to put those to one side because I think I would like to use those together. Maybe that doily as well would go nicely with that. I absolutely love this soap packaging here as well. Now, this is just too thick. This smells absolutely gorgeous. So I think what I'll do is just trim this down as well, just so that I'm just using a fraction of it. You don't have to use all of your pieces. So we'll trim that down there like that. And then what do I want to do? Let's just cut this and see what we end up with. Let's trim this down. You see, I just absolutely love this tile pattern on this packaging here. So I think what I'll do, if I trim that down like that, and then me being me, I'm going to whisk this through my paper trimmer just to get the edges a bit straighter. So I'm just going to pull out a few bits and pieces. I really like this, and I'm wondering whether I could have that there as a focal image. I love the ribbon on this as well. You see, all of these pieces could potentially work really well together. So let me try and narrow it down even further. Now, I have been fiddling around with this for absolutely ages. It was just so hard to make a decision. So what I've done, I've cut the front of the paper bag because I didn't need to use all of it. And this is so pretty, I wanted the back to use for something else. I also think that this paper here, this is the other side of the tissue paper that I used last week. So let me just show you. Well, here we go. That was the other design. That was the piece that I used on the lemon page. I've also got this number here from Ledger paper, which, you know, might be able to incorporate some of this. So we've got 4 numbers there to choose from. We'll see. I've still got this from the soap packaging, and I can't decide which side I like best. A black postage stamp. This piece of scrapbooking paper left over from a previous project. So let's try and make a cohesive piece and do something with this. Now, I've decided I want to work in my usual scraps journal. Just because my French journal I'm trying to keep flat without adding the bulk like I've got here, and I'm thinking that maybe I'll fold some of these pieces in half because I just think it's going to be too big otherwise. Which way up does that go? Does it even matter? I think it's that way, isn't it? So let's have a play around with this. I also wanted to use some of this as well. Of course, that's going to be my focal image. And I'm just playing around with layout here for the time being. I did want some music paper as well, just to add something neutral into the background. You see, I quite like how that looks. And again, I just want to try and keep this simple. I don't want to busy this up too much. I really like that. Where's that piece of text as well? Can we use that anywhere, or would that be too much? Does it even go? And can we use 59 is calling to me. Mind you, you can see what's on the other side. I wonder if let me just have let's try and cut this out. Could we use that somewhere? So I'm going to play around with this until I'm happy with it, but you get the gist. I think these are the pieces that I'm going to use. So I just need to play around with layout and make it into a cohesive collage. Now I've taken everything off the page because I want to try it on this side here. I've just got a feeling that it might look a bit better if it's on this side of the page, just because the ribbon that's on the focal image here just needs to hang off to the left. It was just bunching up on the right, and that was really bothering me. So I just want to maybe try this first. So how did I have everything? So it was something like this, wasn't it? You see, this is why I should have taken a photograph so that I could remember how I had everything laid out. So that was my focal image. My postage stamp was going to go up there, something like that. And then I'd got this little strip of paper here. Now, you see, I'm looking at that and I'm not sure whether I like this strip of paper there or not. I think what I'll do is I'll grab a glue stick. I'm just going to glue everything down with glue stick. I am going to cut these in half though, because I don't want to waste this paper. So I'm just going to trim these in half. Of course, I've got, you know, this tissue paper here and I don't need to use all of it. But I actually like the manuscript paper in the background as well. Now I'm going to start off by gluing this piece of tissue paper down first. I'm just going to use a glue stick, so applying plenty to the edges as usual, just so that it doesn't come unstuck. And as soon as I've got that down, I'll be straight back. I know that people are always interested in what types of glue I use for my various projects. Oh, try not to crease this. Of course, this is just really delicate tissue paper, so we'll glue this one down. So which way up did that want to go? So that wants to go there, like that. Let me just try and centralize that. If I get the odd wrinkle, I'm really not worried about that. So let's just smooth that down with my bone folder. There we go. I like how that looks. And I've chosen to use the piece of paper bag with the ruffled edge just because I like the texture of that. I think that looks really nice. And so I am going to glue that on there like that. Okay, so we've got this glued down. Let's try and piece the rest of it together. How do we want this to go? So we want this something like that. I can't even remember how I had it before. And then the postage stamp was going to go on there like that, and that piece down here. That doesn't look right. Hang on, let's fiddle around with that. Do you know, I think I quite like it better without that on as well. Let me just try and put it back again. Can I do without that? Do I need it? Would it look better on the other side? Let's try that. No, I'm going to discard that. I think it's too much. I think I'm just going to glue these on like that. I love how that looks. Again, the simplicity of it is just absolutely beautiful. Now you can see here that it's just process of elimination. I love how that looks. I want that to go there like that. I am just using glue stick to glue these down. And I think for the focal image, just because that's a much heavier weight piece of cardstock with those metal embellishments as well, I'm going to have to use some 3-in-1. But you can see here that I'm just using plenty of glue stick to glue this down. I want that there like that, I think. Oh, hang on, that one's gone a bit where's that gone wrinkly? Not that it really matters, don't overthink it, Nina. And I might need to just pop a little bit of glue there like that. I feel as if I want that to go just a tad higher. Let me just grab some tissue paper just to wipe off the excess glue from the edge as well. Just try and burnish that down too. I'm going to have to use 3-in-1 to glue that one down. My postage stamp, I think I want there, and I think I want this one here like that. I'm going to centralize this one in between these two pages here. You see, I just love the simplicity of that collage. No, that one there, like that, I think. What do we think? And I'm just going to use some 3-in-1 just to glue this down, because this is quite heavyweight, and so a glue stick just isn't going to cut the mustard, as it were. So we'll just use some 3-in-1 to glue that down. And I do want to, as I say, just use a bit of 3-in-1. How do I want that? How high up do I want that to go? About there, I think. Let me just wipe away any of the excess. I love how that looks. And I just want to apply a touch of glue here just to hold that ribbon down. Just there, just on the black cardstock. I don't mind it flapping there, but I do want it held in place there like that. I love that piece. I just love these simple collages. They're just really speaking to me right now. And I love the fact as well that the burgundy in the fabric on this matches the red on the other side. I would like to see if I can pull out a few bits and pieces to add to the right hand side as well. Let me see what I can find. Now I've found some bits and pieces that I think I can use to make a collage that will fit really well with the one on the left. I've got this piece of paper here. Now this was a piece of paper that I was using to iron off excess wax when I was doing my vellum pages. So I'm pretty sure it was this one here. So I've ironed off the excess wax from the vellum here, and it's left this gorgeous impression. Love the detail around the border as well. That is just distress ink. And I've got a couple of other bits and pieces as well that I might be able to use. I've got a piece of burlap which I think ties in really well with the tab on the next page. This of course was one of the pages I did for Your Creative Studio. This was the one that I did last month, so I think that ties in really well there. I can have this here as my focal image. I think I'm going to be able to use this tab here that of course I didn't end up using on the opposite page. Now, do I want it that way round or that way round? You see, this side is calling to me. I think I'm just going to use that side there. I've also found a postage stamp as well. This is a French postage stamp, and I think colour-wise it matches really well with the little boho tab that I've got on this side here. And I've also found a quote, "A balanced life." This is one of the ones that Anne Johnson gave us to use, and so I think that's going to form my collage for this side of the page. And I just think colour wise it just balances absolutely beautifully with the one on the left. I'm going to use a mixture of different types of glues for this, glue stick and my 3-in-1. I need to have a think about this because I need to work out how on earth I'm going to glue the burlap down without the glue showing through. What I'll do is work backwards. I'm going to glue the quote down first, so let me just use a glue stick for that. So we'll just use some deli paper just to catch the excess. So a balanced life. So we'll just stick that down there like that. Try not to overthink it. I just think that colour wise just works really nicely. This is a quote that I've printed out on vellum paper, so now I just need to work out how I'm going to do this. I think I'll glue this one down first, so again working backwards here. So let me just apply some glue stick. I'm not inking these pages up either, just because I like the simplicity of not inking on these. So there we go, plenty of glue there. And let's stick that down there like that. And now, of course, I can add some glue to this here. I think I'll use glue stick and a touch of 3-in-1 perhaps. I don't want it glued all the way to the edges. I'm quite happy if it lifts at the edge, that's fine. So let's just apply some glue stick like this, and then a tiny bit of 3-in-1, not too much because I don't want it to bleed through. So I'm going to try and go lightly with this, and I'm just going to blend it out in a second with my finger as well, because 3-in-1 and Fabri-Tac do have a tendency to bleed through to the other side of fabric if you're not careful. So hopefully this will be fine. So we'll have that there like that. Let's try and smooth that out. And then of course my focal image is going to go there like that. My postage stamp there. And I think that was it. I love how that looks. Do I want the postage stamp there or there perhaps? So I'm just going to fiddle around with this, and again I'm just going to use glue stick to glue that down. And here's why the quote is so perfect, a balanced life. I've decided it looks more balanced if I have the postage stamp there than up here. it just looks too top heavy. So it's going to go there like that. And again, I'm just going to use glue stick to pop that down. And we'll have that there like that. I love that touch of red. And one more thing, I've just found this piece of paper here that I've obviously added some stitching to and cut off the bottom, and that just works absolutely beautifully there like that. And because this is quite thick, I'm just going to use a tad of 3-in-1 just to stick that down as well, and that just finishes my page off absolutely beautifully. Love that. So that's going to go there like that. I love that. Just want to do 2 more things to this page just to make it look more balanced. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of washi tape to the bottom of this here like this, because this is just looking a bit unbalanced to me. I've got a bigger gap at the top than I have at the bottom, so we'll just add some of that. And I've got one of these deco colour pens here. This is just a gold pen, and what I'm going to do is just add a line of gold just to mirror what I've got going on at the top. Then on the right hand page here, about here like this, I'm just going to add myself a gold heart like that. And I just think that's going to finish off my page absolutely beautifully. So I just need to wait for that to dry. Now that this is dry, let me just peel the washi tape off, and you see that's just perfect. That's just balanced the bottom of that out absolutely beautifully. I've now got a permanent black marker, and all I'm going to do is just add some scribbly lines around this like that. And that's just finished that side off as well. I love how that looks. So here's this week's finished spread. I just love how this has turned out. I couldn't resist adding a bit more gold here as well, just to balance it out even further. I've also tucked the thread around, or the ribbon, I should say, around on the back as well, just because I'm not sure whether I want to cut it off yet. I love the addition of the gold heart as well here. Just love how that looks. And I don't know about you, but I just think that this piece here looks like a bird cage, so it's all turned out really, really well. Now I have still got a gazillion scraps left to use, so I do plan on coming back with more scrap projects as well. We've all got them, haven't we, and we need to use them up. So I hope you'll enjoy seeing more scrap projects from me as well. I'm itching to get going in this journal again. I do need to sort out the spine, and I will be back hopefully next week, now that all the fiasco with exams and everything is all out of the way. So, you know, hopefully, as I say, next week I'll be back with some ideas as to how I can sort that out. But, you know, if you want more ideas as to how you can use your scraps, please do go and check out Kylie's video as well. Don't forget that you can do this in collage style, mixed media style, any style you like. But Kylie, I'm sure, will be sharing more ideas for using your scraps on her channel as well. And if you enjoyed my video, as always, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. Do let me know what you think in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Take care everyone, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.